So where exactly is the TVA? Like I've said before, the TVA in the comics is in a place called the Null Zone, which is a part of the quantum realm. That's why time works differently in both places. New Rockstars has a great theory that I really like, that the Citadel at the end of time is on one end, and that the TVA is at the other end at the beginning of time. In my official MCU timeline book, on page 105, there's a blurb about Loki and the TVA, and it does say that the TVA is at the end of time. So there's that. But as far as how it came to be, He Who Remains in Season 1, Episode 6 explains that he created the TVA after the multiversal war that his variants from the 31st century caused. They were all fighting to save their own universes after traveling between their universes created incursions. So then he tamed Alive so that it could guard the void, and then He Who Remains isolated his own timeline, making it the sacred timeline. But it wasn't the only timeline He Who Remains let exist. He let the ones without Kangs exist in order to prevent his other variants from starting another multiversal war. And thus the TVA was born. Now, some of you know my theory that Victor Timely, King the Conqueror, and He Who Remains are all the same person, not variants of each other, but the same person just at different times in their lives. I think Victor sees the chaos unfolding in the TVA after Loki and Mobius take him to the TVA in episode 3, and he realizes that he's the one who created the TVA, and that's what sets him on the path. I feel like episode 3 was He Who Remains' origin story. He Who Remains being killed by Sylvie, him telling her that he'll see her soon, Renslayer and Miss Minutes completing his contingency plan, and dropping off a TVA guidebook to Victor as a child, Loki, Mobius, Sylvie, Renslayer, and Miss Minutes following him to the World's Fair, taking him to the TVA so that he can fix the time stream, going down the path to become king, and eventually He Who Remains, and then all over again. Basically, we're witnessing an Ouroboros loop. Funny how they chose that name, but definitely not coincidental, because Ouroboros means a circular symbol depicting a snake as an emblem of wholeness or infinity. Kind of reminds me of how some scientists believe that the Big Bang was our universe collapsing in on itself and then rebirthing itself, a continuous loop. But I definitely think that he's going to be an important part in all of this.